to the Quantum Synergy. The Quantum Synergy highlights practitioners and their unique modalities. This show creates an access point for you to hear their stories and connect in with them. It's my dream to help lift these amazing souls up and help them share their gifts with the world. For together, we raise the vibe and create something bigger than we could have ever imagined. So today's episode 1. It's our big premiere. I'm super excited. I have a wonderful guest. I want to welcome DaNae Sweet here. DaNae is an intuitive medium, clinical hypnotherapist, Reiki practitioner, spiritual coach, and she is from Western Nebraska. So before we get started, I want to invite you guys to love this, share this out, interact with us. If there's any questions you want to ask DaNae as we go through this, definitely just type those in there and we will get to those as soon as we can. So DaNae, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do? Tell us about your journey that brought you here.
Sure. I actually quit my job in San Diego. I was a research and development, basically a giant computer nerd. And I quit my job out there to move home to help my dad on the ranch because I just felt like I was really, really called. It was a big choice, but come out here and after being here a little while, I'm getting to an age where I really don't want to do ranch work for the rest of my life. And I started thinking about how I could help humanity, and it just kind of was a domino effect. I just kind of took a leap of faith and got some education in hypnotherapy and the other modalities I do, and then added my mediumship to my practice. After I started, I added that. So
that's really incredible. Did you grow up in Nebraska or are you from California?
I grew up in Nebraska on a cattle ranch, and that's where I live right now. When I'm not here at this office, I help my dad on the ranch.
Wow, that is really cool. Just really awesome. So we want to focus on mediumship today. And when I asked you to be a part of this show, when we connected, we were talking about how sometimes when you watch TV, or actually a lot of times when you watch TV, you'll see these mediumship shows and they almost make a little bit of a farce out of it. But I think DaNae really wants to highlight how helpful this can be in healing.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us a little bit how this has helped you? Or, I know you can't give any names out. I totally understand that, but maybe some of your success stories with your clients?
Okay, sure. For myself, mediumship, I have to go back and tell you kind of how my mediumship
that's a good idea.
I grew up in a traditional Protestant home here, in Nebraska. And after time, I decided I was an atheist. So until I was in my 20s, I was an atheist. And I had a friend, a very close friend, get cancer, and she was in hospice. And I was holding her hand, and she left this earth. I was an atheist before she left. And the moment she left, it was one of those Hollywood movie moments where I saw the light, so to speak, and I knew that there was something more to this earth and to this existence than just this physical place we were at. So that's how it started. I actually started seeing her. She was a very big presence in life, huge presence, in the afterlife. She has guided me, has poked me along, and kind of sparked, I was like this as a child, and I think most of us were like this as a child, and you lose it. You stop believing. And she kind of rekindled that interest and that fire to do this kind of work. So that's how my own mediumship, changed my entire life. I went from not believing when I closed my eyes in this world to leave it, that there was nothing on the other side, to knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is so much more than this, than my physical body, than this office, than anything. It's huge. So that changed my life. Yeah, it changed my life. And then, so trying to think. One of the coolest things that has happened, client wise, and I know this happened for the sake of my husband. My husband got to come with me to one of the metaphysical fairs, and I often offer short mediumship sessions during these fairs. And he was with me, and he'd never heard me or seen me give a reading before. So we're sitting in our booth. I have a privacy tent around us to give the clients, some sense of security. And he's in front of the tent working the merchandise. So we see a woman and two women, an older woman and a younger woman, walk by. And they looked kind of angry at each other. And we mentioned it to each other, and we're like, well, that's strange. So they leave, and not too long, the younger woman comes in and asks for a reading. And the older woman, which I believe was her mother, now I know it's her mom, she rolled her eyes and she stomped off. I said, whatever. So I closed the curtains, and we had, a beautiful session about letting go some of her doubts and guilt about death and family issues. And then her guides came forward and wanted her to know that her mother loved her unconditionally, even though she may not show it. And that changed her entire life. Like, she broke down, she cried, she left, and the mother walks in and wants a reading. And she sits down. And my guides have a symbol for people that walk in and would like to play Stump. I call it Stump the Psychic.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And all have that game.
Yes. And they gave me this sign, and I'm like, oh gosh, no, because I don't get them very often. But she did. She came in, and I said, we didn't get very far, and I said, let's just stop for a second. I would like to regroup. My guides are telling me that you're coming in here as a complete non-believer, and you would be thrilled if I would prove you right. I said, so I will give you your money back and let you walk out, because this is something that's therapeutic, and I take it very seriously.
Right.
And right then, she ruffled up for a second, and then she thought, okay, fine. She goes, I'm sorry, continue. So we went on, and we did her session, and, her guides, my guides, they're all around, and the overwhelming feeling that they wanted to do was help them connect mother and daughter. So they were telling me about things that her daughter was fearing and that she didn't understand, and it all kind of fell into place, and she did cry, and she broke down, and she gave me a big hug, and she left. But the coolest thing is that when they left, they came and they walked around, and when the next time they walked past our booth, they had each other's hands around each other, and they were holding hands and laughing, and it was, my husband turned to me, and he had he's a very sweet, sensitive guy. He had that sweet, teary eye. He's like, I cannot believe that is what just happened. Like, they're together now, and they understand, they have a connection, and they came in angry and are going out of this building hand in hand, which is, it makes me go, that is why I do what I do.
Absolutely. I also do some of this work, and one of the things that has been really cool for me, I see my friend Brandy is on here. Hello, Brandy. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Judy. Brandy has done several readings for me, because as I do this work, sometimes I can't see what I need to see, so I have to go outside and consult as well. So it's good for us to all have good connections like that. And sometimes when I just need to know I'm right where I'm supposed to be or have that message come through, Brandy has been able to have my grandma pull through for me. And it always brings me to my knees. There's always a million tears, but it's just like, sometimes you need to know you have that cheerleader, and it's just been so incredible to have that. And as far as like my family, I was really young when my grandma passed away. Mm-hmm. And my aunts and uncles and my mom were very young too. Like, my mom, I think, was early 20s. But there's that she was sick, and we couldn't help her, and just to know that she's still around for them, I think brings them peace too, so it is very healing, and it's incredibly beautiful to experience. And, especially when you just get those little pieces that you need to hear something and just know that you are where you're supposed to be and it's okay. It's incredibly beautiful. Just wow.
It is. And if somebody would have told me 10 years ago that I would be doing this, I would have told them, I would have told them that they were a liar. Like, there's no way. But seeing the beauty in it myself made me want to do this for other people.
Absolutely.
I have my cheerleader that's with me, when I need her, and I can have, it sounds completely wackadoodle, but I can have a conversation with her about my day or what my worries are, and it just makes me feel like I'm not alone. I'm never alone.
Exactly. And none of us are ever alone. We may feel that way, but that's just kind of when we need to connect in. And, having a person like DaNae that, sometimes it's so heavy you can't see through the fog. Having somebody like DaNae that you can connect with and being able to see things in a different perspective. Maybe just there's this one little message you just need to hear and then everything's going to be okay. Like that is the beautiful power and healing power of mediumship. It's really cool. I know my husband, probably was the same, maybe a little, I don't want to say skeptical, just kind of, he's never come right out and said I was crazy or anything, but probably didn't really see the true beauty of things until he witnessed, and it's just a matter of opening your eyes and seeing, and you will witness. So it's really cool.
It really, like, I love that I can do this for other people and make them start their healing journey. Like, I had one that comes up in my mind. I had a woman with a deceased husband, and she always felt like, did he know that I did this for him in death? Did he know that I mourn him? She just wanted to know that he understood her. And the thing that he sent me was an image. I the way I communicate is in images for the most part.
Yeah.
So he sent me an image of a calla lily in on a coffin, like her putting it down. And I asked her, I said, he's showing me this scene. Is that what happened? And she said, oh my gosh. I said, well, that's your sign that he was there. He was witnessing you, expressing your love and your loss, and that he is there with you the entire time. He's still with you, and that, he understands. And she was just, you could feel the energetic release happen over the phone. She was just like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
And that one little thing, like a calla lily, a one little flower meant the world to her.
Right.
So those little things, I think, are so powerful for us.
Just a really cool story. Wow. And people talk all the time. You hear people say, we are so connected to the oneness. We're never separate from the oneness. This is the oneness,
Yes.
So
it really is. And that's the only time we really truly feel alone is when we cut ourselves off from it.
Right.
Energetically or subconsciously, however it may happen for you, when you cut off from the oneness, the humanity, from everything, is when you truly do feel alone, because you can't energetically feel anybody, whether they're standing next to you on this physical earth or you're in the next life.
Right. And you can feel them,
Gosh, yeah.
You might have a little bit of a block you're going through, and you go to somebody like DaNae who does Reiki. So there's a healing modality there as well. And you're getting these messages. And as she's clearing these blocks, you'll be able to feel that comfort and that, just holding you and standing next to you. And so it's incredibly beautiful. Just amazing. So I'm curious. Back to this, the stuff we see on TV and hear on TV. What triggers you? What makes you go, really? Are you kidding?
It's the showboating is what really gets to me sometimes, because if I'm, like, for instance, if I'm doing a reading, I get a lot of signs and symbols. I don't need like I know which ones need to be communicated to the client to serve their highest good, because that's what's in the forefront. But the showboating, they're like, oh, you wore a yellow dress yesterday with polka dots, right? You know, all that little stuff. I'm like, did that really heal you?
Exactly.
Like, probably not. Like, and that's my one pet peeve is I will have, you know, people call and that's what they want. And I will make sure, you know, I will totally do a reading for you, but understand that this is more, I call it like spirit therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to tell you what you ate 5 days ago. And if you have a monkey for a pet, I'm going to let you know what spirit wants you to know.
Exactly. I have the same thing in my practice. You know, you have, all these people that just come in for very random things, and sometimes you wonder if they see that value and how far that can take you in moving forward. I definitely see that a lot too. It's quite interesting.
Yes. And that was one of my reservations about adding, you know, being able to do this for the public is like,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that my practice was thought of as a healing, a healing mind body wellness is what I practice. And I wanted to make sure that even the mediumship was thought of as a mind body wellness modality, because it truly is.
Right.
I mean, I could do this, you know, the silly showboating stuff, but that doesn't resonate. So
Yep. Absolutely.
It just it does irritate me, and I am one of the I watch them. I will watch those shows because I don't know why. I do. So I probably, you know, am participating and perpetuating the silliness, but I watch the shows too because, you know, it is interesting, and you watch it because we have no people that, you know, that like to go swimming can watch swimming TV and, you know, competitions and things like that. So you want to watch something on TV that you do or you're interested in. So I'll watch those shows, and my husband, he'll be like, "Why do you watch them? Like you call them silly and you know they're ridiculous sometimes. Why do you watch them?" Like, I don't know. They're entertaining. I know they're not therapeutic at all for me, but they're definitely entertaining. So I get the entertainment value of the shows.
Yeah. It's like a soap opera a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I get caught up in the actual lives of the mediums on TV rather than the stuff they do. I get caught up in the soap opera stuff. That's more interesting to me.
Definitely. I have a question for you, DaNae. This is interesting. This is something I've found on my journey. As a medium tapped into the psychic realm as well, have you found it is hard for you to connect with people who can read you? Like my friend Brandy's on here. She's definitely one of the very few that I can actually get a reading from, and they're not like, well, you already know all of the stuff I'm going to tell you. Yeah, it's like, that's not why I'm here. So why do you think that is? I'm really curious.
I don't know. I find myself, because I think part of it is our human ego, because I believe we're souls in a meat suit.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
You know, so our meat suit has that human monkey brain, and I don't know if it's an ego thing. Like, sometimes even though I doubt my own gifts, I mean, I think we all have the imposter syndrome sometimes. I will, you know, go for a reading, and my first knee-jerk reaction is, yeah, right. I don't know why. I'm like, she's not gonna be able to read me. There's no way. Like, and that's the ego part of my human, you know, mind. So for me, I think that's what it is, because that's my knee-jerk, because I feel like that's what people think of me. So sure. I think it's a reflection of my own insecurities when other people come to me. So then when I go to somebody else, I think I reflect that on them. So.
Well, check this story out. This is before I started sharing these gifts as well. I'm trying to think how many years ago, 5-6 years ago, my childhood best friend had passed away. And the story is that she was camping with her family, and the river was high where they were camping, and her daughter fell into the river, and she was able to save her daughter. And when her dad reached his hand out to grab her, she was gone.
Oh no.
So a couple years after she had passed away, there was a medium come to our town. Now, in our town, you know, this is, again, a few years ago, this stuff was kind of unheard of here. Now, there's a few of us in town who actually advertise this work. And I had a dream the night before. This always happens. This is just how my gifts come in. So she had visited me the night before and showed me everything. And she also had me ask these certain questions. You know, it was things like, is she, you know, just very simple. Again, like, is she okay? Is there any messages that I can relay for her children? You know, just kind of simple things. I kept it very basic. Anyways, so I go to this guy, and he's like, it was really interesting. He kept saying, like, is her name Amy? Is her name Rhonda? And it was like, no. Well, finally we went through all these names, you know, and I finally had to tell him what her name was. And then he's like, okay, so there was an accident. And I said, yes, there was an accident. And she passed away in a fire. And I was like, no, you know, like that's, yeah, I ended up leaving in tears. I mean, tears just running down my face, because it was like, that's not what I went there for, you know. And I'm not trying to be awful saying that. It was kind of like I just needed to know she was okay, right? You know. So that has been my experience with a lot, you know. I know we all resonate with different people. Right. You know, as far as energy, but it's I don't know. I must have some serious protection on or something. You know, I was just curious if you have those experiences too.
Oh yes.
What is going on? I should have stayed at home and did this myself.
Yep. Yes. And it's funny, I have somebody that I go to and I've been to a couple of them, because sometimes at those metaphysical fairs, like, you have a dead side, like a completely like dead hour where we don't have anybody coming in. So there's nothing else to do but get each other readings. We're like, cool, let's just swap. And we give each other readings, and it's super fun. But it's neat because, like, one person might completely like get it wrong, and, you know, I don't resonate with them at all. And then the next person is like, woo, spot on. So it's cool to do it in a room like that, because you all can kind of like see what resonates. And I do have somebody that I will call her if I have an issue or I have a freak out moment, because like you said, like with the way mine works, like I will specifically ask my guides or spirit, you know, about something in my life, my particular life. They literally show me the sign of a black curtain, and they go, whoop, and they show it. Like, that's like so big. No. So they won't, I cannot see or ask about things that directly affect me.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
I won't, I had some very close family had a health issue, and I did not, you know, it torqued me off that I didn't get a warning about it. Yeah. Weirdly enough, my husband did.
Wow.
So my husband got a weird physical sensation and was like, I don't know where this is coming from. This is odd. And I'm like, you know, maybe you need to lay off the caffeine, you know. I didn't know. And, you know, after the incident happened, he was like, oh my God, that happened at the same time as this incident with the family. And, you know, I was so upset. Like, I was like, you know, we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to go to my meditation room and we're going to talk about this, because that is, you know, not okay that I didn't get a warning and he did, you know. But I think it doesn't serve my highest good to know those things about my, you know, my future or my loved ones.
Yeah.
Which is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, you're right. And my husband and I are very in tune with that as well. too, you know, must just be really good partnership. Sometimes they need to be our angels, you know, and yeah, so that's really interesting too. It's good to talk about this stuff with you, and you know, it's stuff I never ask other mediums. So this is really fascinating to me to learn that other people have similar incidences.
Oh yeah, like it makes me so mad that I can't, like, when I really want to know, I'm like, you know, now I just call her and she helps me out and she's like, slow down, you know, let's just take this one thing at a time, you know, and she will help me through, you know, anything, whether it's she's a healer and a medium as well. So she can help me through difficult times when I'm doing a healing and it's something weird comes up, and you know, I can ask her these questions which I didn't have before, so I just use Google, you know, I'm like, what was that? You know, and I'm Googling these things and oh my gosh, it's not a good idea. So it's really awesome to be able to connect with other people in our community and be able to have an open conversation about these things, because, you know, other people would think we're just wackadoo, you know, half the stuff that happens. So I can't talk to some of my friends about it because they're not going to understand or know what to do. You know, they might care and want to help me, but they have no reference to help me, you know, reference from which to help me from.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's incredible stuff. How did you know? I know, were you tapped in before your friend passed away? I mean, what was your childhood like as far as messaging and
my childhood? I am always have been super creative, very right brained. I'm a musician and a writer. So even as a child, I would like write stories and, you know, color murals on my wall, and very creative. And I think that's a conducive environment for connection. So when you're already like open in that respect in an artsy way, I think that it kind of allowed that flow of energy. But I would see little, I call them, sound so dumb, I called them my friendly light balls. There were these balls of light, and I would go into my, this is so weird, I would go into my closet at night, so it was really dark, and I didn't want to bother my sister because we were both in the same room. So I go in my closet and I would shut the door, and I would be able to see all these beautiful lights, and they're like, you know, little balls like this, and they would swirl around me, and I would call them my friends.
I love it.
And at the time, I had no idea what they were, even as, you know, I got probably into grade school a little bit, and I was aware that it was probably not normal, you know, to share that with my friends. So I didn't. And I would get, you know, I was able to know things before they happened, weirdly enough. Like one time when I was really little, my sister's cat had died. I didn't know it. We didn't know it. But before we walked to the door, I stopped and made her go back because I saw her dead cat. Wow. And then we opened the door and the cat's gone. Things like that. So that's kind of how my childhood was. I was a rebel. I was, you know, I wanted to dress like Blossom. You know, I don't know if you remember that show, but
I do.
I wanted to be Blossom so bad. So, you know, I went through a rebellious phase where, you know, I didn't want to go to church because it didn't feel like, it didn't resonate. It felt weird. And I think I was going through what I did later, but it stopped then because I was not completely okay with all of it. And I had questions that they couldn't answer. So I went through a rebellious phase where I decided I was going to dress like Blossom at church so I didn't have to go. And I wore like the big Blossom hat, you know, with the big flower right here. Yeah. And my mom never made me go back again. So really? Yeah, she was like, no, God. We live in a town of like, I think at the time there was like 150 people.
Oh, wow. So you only had one church.
Yeah, we had one church, and like I was the kid with like flowers, and I wanted to be a hippie, you know, super bad. So, you know, I dressed weird compared to everybody else. I've always been a little odd, but that's okay.
I feel like I'm talking to myself. You totally sound just like me. I mean, maybe not Blossom, but I was definitely always a little outcast. I was my own person, and nobody has ever been able to change me.
Yep.
They've tried real hard.
Oh, yes, yes. It's a very tough thing for people, especially in a small community, to not be able to fit you in their mold. Like to
Yeah.
not be able to go, you fit like this. And when you don't, they have no idea what to do with you sometimes. So that was always a struggle for me, like the feeling like I didn't fit in. And, as I got older, I figured, I started to understand that I didn't need to. I really was comfortable with being, the weird hippie chick in town, and I'm fine with that. But for a long time, was searching, like, I want to belong here, and I want to belong here. I want to do something that makes me feel like I belong to some people like me. And so that was one of the struggles, I think, the worst ones when I was growing up, is not feeling like I belonged where I lived. So, and now I moved back to where I used to, feel like that. So it's a whole new, can of worms. But it's been the community that I live in actually has been really, I wouldn't say like they're not like be my cheerleader, but they're not against anything I do. I haven't had anybody speak ill of me. So I am very thankful that, I can do this in a community that is very conservative, like really conservative. And
Right.
I haven't had any backlash. My family, that was my main concern. I don't know about, so when you started doing this, were you concerned about how it would affect your family? Because that was the one thing that I worried about more than anything.
Well, my big incidents started when my grandma passed away. I think it was, right before I turned 5. So I was very young. And the night she passed away, she had come to me with messages. So it was very early. I remember seeing things and talking to things when I was younger than that. But that is really the one that sticks out in my mind. And I remember going upstairs to tell my family this, and I think they thought I was crazy. So I kind of simmered down for a little bit. Right. And then when I finally stepped into who I am, it concerned me because I don't want people to think I'm a bad person because of what I do, Right. So I rehearsed in my head, how am I going to tell them that this is healing, this is very spiritual and not in a bad way. And, so I rehearsed all of that. And when it came down to it, I think they just knew, when I finally came out of the closet as to who I am, they said, yeah, we didn't expect any different, So I think I worried more than I needed to. And then, as far as when I felt accepted in that point, I just really stepped into who I was. And I'm just a strong believer that, your vibe attracts your tribe. So yes. The people that need to see you, DaNae, are going to see you because they feel your connection to them. They can see your light. They can feel your heart. And, so yeah.
I agree. I was, my husband, before I decided to offer this service publicly, as in the office, I expressed to him how I'm like, I don't want people to make fun of you or make fun of my daughter. I was very aware of the possibilities that it could have turned really bad for them to. So, I went to him and asked him about, and that's what he said the same. He goes, you're worrying way more than you have to.
Yeah.
He says, we accept you. My daughter said, she's like, we know that this is what you do and this is what is going to make you happy. So just do it. And who cares if somebody says something bad? And I needed to hear that from them. Like, it was like me getting their permission to do this and to handle whatever backlash may come, which didn't, which is great.
So there's one incident I can think of where I shared an office with several people. I had renters, and there was a gentleman in there, and nothing against him or religion or anything, very Christian minded. And me doing my work, he did not like that. And I actually caught him talking to some of my clients one day that, yeah, like basically discrediting my
Oh,
work, what I do, because it's not godly,
right.
which I disagree.
Yes, yes, fully.
But like what he would do in his room, like he would pray over people and share messages from God and
Right.
Jesus. So to me, it's no
The same
different.
thing.
It's a different technique, I'm sure,
Yes.
but you know, if you're pounding in a hammer and I'm pounding in a hammer, they might not look the same,
Yes.
you
But
know, right?
no, I'm in a building like right now. There's an attorney right here across from me. There's an accountant over there, and then I have two neurosurgeons and a chiropractor that's upstairs. So I'm
Wow.
in a building of like very, professional people, and I was a little concerned about, being the resident hippie, in the building, basically, and they've all been super nice. I was very, they're all very accepting, like, what do you do? And they ask me questions, and they've been very good about it. So my workplace has been really, really accepting, which
That's
I was concerned about. When I saw who was in here, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are all science-based people. They're going to look at me like I am crazy. But they've actually been so seriously super nice.
that's really awesome. And
Yes,
you know, the earth is changing. The vibe is
yes,
raising. And
yes,
people are definitely more aware and open to the new things. I don't want to say
right.
new things. It's not new things. The
No,
old ways, maybe I should say, because
yeah,
this is stuff our ancestors did. It's no different.
exactly. Yep. No, I completely agree. When you were talking about the skeptic, I had to like it popped in my head. We were at a fair, and I was advertising my services, and when I set up my booth and I prepare, we all come in early and we all set up and we all do this, and it's pretty cool. We all do a blessing, of our space.
Aw.
It's really cool. And I always, get in my space and I meditate. I ask I always, whether it's this door here or my booth or wherever, I always ask people, only people walk through the door that, really need me. People that, want, help, want to spiritually grow or whatever,
Yeah.
And that day, I had like five people walk in through my, wanting readings that were like said outwardly. I don't believe in what you do. I just want you to explain it to me. Give me a reading and explain this to me. And I had like my daughter was working there, and she was like, "Do you want me to?" Like, she's really protective. Like, when she realized the first one come in, like she was like, "You want me to screen them a little better?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm fine." I'm like, I'll be. They're meant to come in here, then they're meant to come in. And I had a whole string of these, and I kept thinking to myself, like, dudes, like I said, please let only people in here that needed to be in here. And then I thought, you know what? They do. And
Good.
I talked to the main theme for all of them. They grew up in a Christian-based faith, and they couldn't reconcile my gift with their faith.
Yeah.
So that day, I think I explained it so many times, but I had people come in and go, oh, well, I thought what you did was like you had to, drink the blood of a goat, and like you did all these things. And I'm like, good God, no, no.
Wow. Are you serious?
Oh yeah, but they were the most open skeptics,
Wow.
and they would tell me the main thing is like, I don't understand how you can talk to what you speak to the people you do on the other side, and in my faith, it's all things through Jesus or all things through God or whatever. And I said, you think of it as a different word. Like, you call your higher power God. I use the word spirit because I
Oh,
resonate with it. It's just a word. I
yeah.
said, and when I have a session, I always tell them, please let me know if you'd like me to use the word God. I will use the word God because to me, God and spirit is interchangeable.
Absolutely.
So
Spirit, universe. Yeah.
yes, all of that is an interchangeable thing because it's all source. To me, that is the source. And so I was able to kind of explain it to them and allow them to go, oh, they're just names.
Yeah.
It's just a name. It's just a term or a word, and I might not follow their religious dogma, but I'm very connected in the same way that they do when they pray.
Right.
So I was able to tell those people that come in and give them beautiful readings, and they, give them some healing as well. But that day, I couldn't believe I had all those skeptics. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a terrible day. But it actually ended up one of my favorite days out in the public, sharing, because I did get to educate, and they were great. They were great skeptics because they were so open, and they would just tell me straight up, I don't believe what you do. It's a sham. I'll pay your $15, but I don't think that you're gonna be able to tell me squat. And I was like, okay, at least whatever. And it's funny because while I don't know how your gift works, so if I'm talking to somebody, I still have my guides.
Oh, yes.
Talking to me. So while I'm talking to these guys, my guides are talking to me, and I'm like, why didn't you send me the sign? And they're like, well, it is what it is. This is what's meant to be. So
you're that person's light. You're helping shine the light into their life. So that is the message they need. They needed that. Absolutely. It's wow.
That was a fun skeptic.
You must have handled it very well.
It was one of those things that I knew was a lesson for me too, because I had insecurities and kind of a negative energy around skeptics, like, oh, how dare you? I'm trying to help humanity, and you think I don't do the world's good, And when those people came in, it changed my energy around skeptics. So those people definitely taught me a lesson. So it was definitely an exchange that happened that day. It was good for me, and it was it was good for them as well. So
what a therapeutic day. That's crazy.
It was a beautiful day. Yeah.
So when someone comes to you for a session, what does it look like? Is it different every time?
It can be, yeah. So I prepare beforehand. I meditate for just a little bit. I connect to my guides. I actually do some things to protect myself from, anything that might come through that isn't going to serve my highest good or theirs.
Right.
I do that. That's the one constant for each session. But everybody their loved ones are all unique. Some sessions will be mostly spirit driven, and maybe a loved one will pop through, just to serve, for whatever reason they pop through, and we'll give them a message. And then some of them, spirits like, whatever, here's all your, loved ones, and it's like a party in here of, family. Right. So it's kind of different. I did have one that was completely unique. I had somebody scheduled to come in for a reading first thing. So I'm driving, and it takes me 2.5 hours to get to work. So I have a long drive.
Are you kidding me? Wow, you are dedicated.
Yeah. So I'm driving, and I'm listening to my podcast, and all of a sudden I get this image of this like beautiful filigreed heart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. I haven't had enough coffee. I just want to drink coffee. Leave me alone while I drive, please. And it comes back, and I'm like, okay, fine. I acknowledge. I let them know. I have to kind of go, okay, I acknowledge this is a message. When I get to the office, I'll do something about it. So I got here, and I drew the heart down.
Cool.
And just so I had it in my notebook. The woman comes in, and immediately I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, before we start, can I please show you something? And she's like, okay. I'm like, do you have this as a tattoo? And I turned the notebook around, I showed her, and she was like, oh my God. And it was, she showed me her tattoo.
Yeah. Wow.
And I asked her, I said, were you a little hesitant or unsure about the validity of my gift or what your experience was going to be like? And she's like, to be honest, yes. I was excited, but didn't really fully buy into it. And it was such a spirit's way of saying, here, you needed some proof, here it is. So that was one. I've never had that big of a sign before a client come in.
Yeah.
So that was neat.
That's incredible. Wow.
She was like, are you kidding me? Like, really? Like, so that was a cool experience just to see her face, because I didn't know. I'm like, is this a tattoo? Because that's what it looked like. She's like, yeah.
Definitely. Do you work with clients through the miles? like online, like in a Zoom session or Skype or
I can
awesome.
do on the phone or in person or like this, like a video chat, however they're comfortable. If they're comfortable with just phone, I actually this my favorite kind of reading is phones because I
Yeah.
can't see your face. I
Yes.
have no reference for anything.
Yes.
So for my own personal confidence, I feel like I'm not relying on anything. It's
Yeah.
just a blind read. And I do love those because I tend to even get more information that way because
Oh yeah.
my human mind isn't distracted.
Those are my absolute favorite. Don't tell me anything,
Yep.
just let me go in and
Yep.
let it flow and you'll hear everything that you need to hear. So
Exactly.
I definitely recommend that to you guys. If you reach out to DaNae, definitely go in, maybe start out with a blind read and then maybe she
Yep.
can refine some questions for you too and see what comes through. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yep.
You want to maybe tell people how they could connect with you, the ones that are watching. If you guys have any questions for her while we're
Yeah.
on, type them
Ask me.
in. We'll answer some questions if you got some while we got some time, and then she can tell us how to connect in with her.
You can go to my website. It's DaNaeSweet.com. And on there, I have links on the very first page, I will have links for Facebook, Instagram, and I'm on Twitter. I don't know why I'm on Twitter because I was told I should, I guess, but I mostly post on Facebook and Instagram. So those kind of things, you get a hold of me there, and you can book an appointment right through my website. If you just click on appointments, there'll be a book now button.
Awesome. Very, very cool. And DaNae, make sure you go back in this video after the
Mm-hmm.
replay and put your information in there, like just copy and paste your links in there. That way people can reach out to.
Sure.
We will be uploading this to YouTube, so I'll make sure DaNae gets a copy of that to share too. So you guys, she's amazing. She's really cool, and I totally invite you to reach out to her, connect in, and receive some healing messages. That's it's really beautiful. If you've never worked with a medium before, it'll blow your mind. It will truly blow your mind, and you're gonna walk away feeling lighter, having some insight. I mean, really, the path is just open. Just allow yourself to receive and see what comes in. So, yeah. Do you have any advice for anyone before we
Um, my advice for those who are interested in this realm, this whole idea of, healing or connecting with the other side is that, like, I think we were talking about this earlier, is that anyone has the capability to do it. You just have to believe that you can do it and start that process. Like, really, like, people come in and I will tell them, you are like, I have people that come in that probably could read me. Like, they're that intuitive, they just do not believe it.
yeah.
So I want everybody to know that, spirit is with you, whether you open your heart and your energy to that or not. It's there if you want it. So if you feel like you are on a path for healing, the first step is just believing that you are capable, that you are worthy of that gift. I know that was a big deal for me. I didn't feel worthy of being able to do this for people. So know that spirit, if you have it, that spirit believes that you're worthy. So
Right. And don't let it scare you
yes.
either.
Yes.
That's another thing. Like you hear it, it's like, whoa, I did not just hear that. Did I? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And I will have clients do that. They'll be like, well, the other day, I heard this. I heard my name and I know I heard my mom speak. I'm like, it was. Like, you got to believe that it is. I mean, what else is it going to be? Unless you have, something else going on physically, that is your mom. That is your deceased loved one. It is spirit guiding you. So it's a big concept to wrap your energy around, but once you do and embrace it, is absolutely, I do not know what I would do without my guides and my connection to spirit. like now living this way, living in a spiritual way, I don't know how I would live if I didn't have it. Like I would be absolutely devastated and lost.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
This is I every message I receive, I am just mind blown and excited
Oh,
and thankful and grateful. So in early June, we had went to Spearfish so I could attend a meditation retreat for some of the work that I do. And then as we're in this retreat, we're talking about the next phase of the class, which is the mastership level, you know, and it's coming up in August. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of money to manifest. You know, we got to go to California and find a place to stay. And then you pay for the class and, you know, all your food and yada, 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 you know, it gets to be a lot.
Right.
So I get home and my teacher had wanted me to call her. I think she just wanted to reassure me that I needed to be there, which I already knew I did. Right. So I called her on a Wednesday, and by Friday, I'm sitting down, I'm meditating with my guides, and I work with Saint Germain. He is the ascended master I work with. So I'm okay. Here we go. If I need to go on this trip, I need a clear path, well lit signs, no confusion. Please, you know, don't make me think about this too hard, please. I just need to know because we didn't have a whole lot of time to get signed up and.
Right.
You know, all that other stuff. By Monday, I had manifested everything I needed to go on that trip. I mean, that's like 2 days.
That is beautiful.
That's insane. That's like,
that is so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so beautiful and amazing. And, you know, we deserve this. We deserve to be tapped in. And this is what we're supposed to do. This is our connection to the oneness. So.
And like you asked about the advice, the one question I get asked the most, the one reason people come in here lately is, I don't understand what my path is. What am I supposed to do with the rest of my life? You know, that is the main, lately, that's the theme. For months, that's been the theme for people coming in here. And they're like, I don't know, I feel lost, what do I do? I'm like, what makes you curious? What makes you passionate? Like those things that you go out and do that you might think, oh, that's just my stupid hobby. That's what lights your fire. Then follow that. That's like a breadcrumb from spirit going, hey, you like that thing, go there. And then that might lead you to something else. And it's amazing when you start just acting on those things going, wow, I really love, you know, singing or playing music, and you just start doing that more, or you start taking opportunities to do it for others, and then that leads to something else. It's amazing how the universe will just lay things out for you.
Yeah.
If you act on it, like you said, if you meditate on it, you manifest it, you really believe that this is what you're going to do and ask for guidance, it's amazing how fast things will fall into place once you take the leap of faith.
And it's effortless. Like you don't even have to try. It just happens. A mentor of mine, Marie Diamond. I don't know if you guys have heard of Marie Diamond. I heard her talk last night, and I feel like this is an important message. My spirit guides are coming in and saying, tell them this. This is good stuff. Don't be afraid to ask for those messages. Like maybe they come in and they show you writing a book. Be open to receive that message and just ask them to allow it to flow and unfold for you to pay attention. I think that was like, yep, bam, right on point. Thanks, Marie. You're awesome.
It's the truth. That's funny you say book, because maybe I'm writing a book right now. So that's funny.
That message was for you then.
It was for me. Yeah, so it is funny how spirit works that way. Just it is effortless. Once you start living that life and being authentic to that lifestyle, it does just start to flow in. When it's ready, it flows in.
Absolutely. Well, you're totally going to have to tell us about your book. Do you have a name for it yet, or a release date?
I have a working title. It's called Praying Beyond Religion.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. It's actually a spirit-driven book. In December last year, I had a dream and it was so real that I'm like, bam, I'm like, woke my husband up. I'm like, you got to hear this. And I literally I dreamt writing the book, doing the interviews. I remember holding the book in my hand. I remember the whole thing. It was a very real dream. And when I have those kind of dreams, when I don't understand whether it's real or not, when I first wake up, those are the dreams from spirit.
Oh
That's
yeah.
spirit going, hey, you should do this. So I'm like, okay, fine, I will do this book. And it took me a while to really believe that, like you said, like Spirit says, write a book. Yeah, whatever. And I
Yeah.
held on to it for a little while because I'm like, that's not what I'm supposed to do. And then all of a sudden, the pull to do it was like, I got to write. So the premise of the book is I go around to all these different places, religious places. So I visited a Buddhist monastery and stayed there, the Catholic Church, and did mass, and I spoke to the priest. And so I'm going through all these religions and
Wow.
faiths, and I'm asking them some basic questions. You know, do you think that everybody could be praying to the same thing, even though we call it something different? I mean, it's a abridged version of my question, but like things
Yeah.
like that. What do you pray for when you're alone? What do you think what's going to take to turn humanity around? Those kind of things, the big questions. And it has been, and it started out, that's what the book started out about. And I, was writing my experiences about it, and it was, it has actually turned out to be more of a book about my journey throughout all these faiths and my assumptions and have been changed, and things that I believed about a certain religion completely changed because I was able to immerse myself in it and experience it as if I wanted to do this. Like, all right, I'm gonna be a Buddhist for a week, or I'm gonna immerse myself in the Catholic religion and, go to mass and talk to the priest and, try to do everything I can to experience it fully. And it's actually been my own journey. It really,
Wow.
so
That sounds incredible. I want
I
you to come back on here and tell us when your book's out and how awesome people are going to love this.
I'm excited because so far it's shown that, you know, doesn't matter what faith it is, that everybody generally wants the same thing. We just want to have a better world, to be more kind to each other. And, I have, my husband's not excited about some of the places I want to go. There's a Satanist a group that's in Colorado that I have, sent an inquiry in to experience what they do.
Wow.
Um, you know, there's all kinds of different faiths. I have to go to Omaha to visit. There's a Wiccan church there that I would love to visit, and it's hard to find a church
Yeah.
that was that religion. I'm like, I want to hit all these fringe ones and the ones that maybe aren't as mainstream, so that I have a very wide
Yeah.
collection of
Yeah.
experiences. So I'm very excited to get the rest of it done.
No, no, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. People keep
Sure.
your minds open.
Yeah,
We hear the word Satanist,
you
but
do.
and I'm not saying I'm a Satanist, so don't take it that way either. But
No.
but they're people too, and they just believe
Yes.
something different, and
Yes.
they get there a different way. You know,
Exactly.
it's like
Exactly.
going to 5 different hairstylists. They're all gonna cut your hair a different way.
And that's basically the premise, is that we all get, like, everybody that has a faith or a religion, they're all wanting to get to the same place but take a different route.
Exactly.
And it may change. Like, I have no idea what the future of these interviews are hold for me, but so far it has been an absolute beautiful experience. Like, I'm actually planning to go back to the monastery just for my own, you know, it started out a retreat, a meditation retreat, and I actually started writing the book that day. So I want to go back there when it's all over and kind of go first full circle and take a week and meditate. And they want a book. They're like, bring the book back. We want a copy of it. So
Oh yeah. I mean, you really perked my ears. That really sounds like something I would enjoy as a person. And I think a lot of people would enjoy because there is that curiosity. You know, it sounds adventurous and fun,
Mm-hmm.
educational and nonfiction. Not that I don't like fiction. I just really love nonfiction and awesome stuff. That's incredible. I'm very excited. You definitely keep us posted
Oh, I
on
will.
how that's progressing, and we all want copies, I'm sure of it.
I'll need beta readers at some point, so I'll have to like put out a request for some beta readers. So
Yeah,
definitely.
I would love that. Wow, that sounds very awesome.
Cool, cool. Well, I'm excited. I've got a lot of things. We're gonna have, hopefully our podcast is gonna start maybe next month. And we
Awesome.
definitely, that's what we wanted you on for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, and you keep me posted on that too. I'll make sure and share out those links for everybody. You guys, make sure you're catching up with DaNae so you can follow her stuff and her progress and her journey as well. With that being said, you know, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and please reach out to DaNae. If she's speaking to you, there is a reason that she is coming into your world. So don't hesitate to reach out to her and connect with her amazing vibration. Make sure that you tune in next week. I have an incredible guest scheduled next week too. Her name is Crystal Taylor, so she's going to be a lot of fun. Another spirit conversation, so it'll be very amazing. I'm so excited to be here with you, DaNae. Thank you so much for premiering with me.
Yes, and thank you for having me on. It's been
Yeah,
awesome.
please come back and share your wisdom with us. This was a blast.
I would love to come back, so that'd be fun. I maybe when halfway through my book, when I have a little more experiences to talk
Yeah,
about. Yeah, that's been fun.
that would be incredible. All right, guys, thank you so very much. I hope you all have a beautiful day.